Hey, Rich.
Hey.
Hey, so I know we've talked about doing either a podcast or a YouTube series, basically creating some content, telling some stories around the whole concept of this charity project that we're starting. Currently it's called Pay It Forward, might change, but I thought it'd be really interesting to get an understanding of your debt, you know, if you have debt, and have that conversation. So over the course of, you know, hopefully the next couple of months, at least the next month, we want to speak with many different people and hear their stories about their student debt and how it affects their life. And hoping to not make this, we're not going to make this a pity party in any sort of way. Just want to, you know, hear stories. And then also hopefully we can get some experts in the field of debt, people who are fighting debt, maybe in a legislation in the government, maybe in corporate levels, to eliminate debt in America. So I like to start this off in a bit of an interesting way. So let's just start with, Rich, what is your 3-minute commercial? Soup to nuts, tell me about yourself.
Started out in Whidbey Island, which is in Washington. It's a small island. I ran a business for about 8 years.
What was the business?
So I worked at Domino's Pizza, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to become an owner and do the franchise thing.
So Domino's is a franchise that you can, like Jimmy John's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was really passionate about that. Wanted to, you know, use that as my career and just kind of hang out. I love Whidbey Island. It's a great little town. Then I kind of got more into the tech space and I wanted to get educated. So I got an associate's, got a job over at Microsoft. Worked there for about 6 years and learned how to navigate the corporate life. And along the way there, you know, one of my frustrations was I didn't have a bachelor's, and it seemed like a lot of people could move around with, you know, better degrees. So I went and got the bachelor's, didn't get the job, thought maybe I needed a master's, decided to go for that. You know, so I stayed in the IT field, got the master's.
So you get a bachelor's and a master's in what fields?
So let me start with the associates. Associates was Skagit Valley College. It was a computer information systems.
Okay.
I was told that I would, you know, probably make about $70,000 fresh out of college with that degree. So it was pretty motivating.
Okay.
I made about $40,000 out of college, which barely covered my rent.
And when you say college, you mean bachelor's?
No, I mean associates.
You mean associates, yeah. Okay.
Bachelor's was when I had been at Microsoft for a while, got a little bit of a raise, maybe it was at like $45,000, $50,000.
And your bachelor's was in IT?
IT and administrative management.
Okay. And then your master's was in IT as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I just took that bachelor's into a master's.
Okay.
It was one more year.
Okay.
So I figured, hey, it's pretty easy to get that degree. Maintained 4.0 through the whole thing, went double time for the bachelor's, was really motivated, you know, wanted to get into the career even faster, thinking that would really help me out. I think it did. I mean, I think it helped build that knowledge, but I think the work that you put in, the networking, the building relationships, actually going out and applying helps you get into the field. Having that bachelor's, having that master's gives you the confidence and things like that you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So how much debt do you have, Rich?
Now, so I need to add one last thing to the master's. So I did utilize grants and things that I was able to get for assistance with my with, you know, getting the degrees. I also went for another master's at the University of Washington. So I went for a STEM certification, which was about a year, and then their master's program in computer science.
So you were going to get a second master's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of it's just passion, and part of it's because I really want to be marketable, and it just seems like that field is growing and growing and growing even today. So that's just something I wanted to do. Took on additional debt. You know, obviously, the University of Washington is a little bit more expensive than Central and some of the other colleges I went to. Money.
Yeah.
So I was I'm very conscious about how much I have in debt. One last thing to add, actually, while I'm thinking about it, is I also went through a bankruptcy in between all of that and maintained all of my student loans. Still. So everything else got wiped clean. Had a house, had a line of credit, $50,000, all that stuff gone. But the one thing I couldn't get rid of was my student debt.
So isn't student debt the one debt that it's like a cockroach? It's indestructible. As in, even if someone passes away, they still have student debt to their name that will be passed on to their will, owner, keepsake, whoever.
Yeah,
that's true, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know the exact details. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know if after I die or anything. Like, I hope that I don't do that. I hope I don't leave my debt behind for someone. But I do know that the bankruptcy, that was one of the things they made very clear to me. You will still have to pay this debt. Which,
the student debt.
Yeah, the student debt. And I just, you know, I was even able to keep my car. The loan, loan that I was through wasn't able to contact me for the car, but I could keep the car as long as I made payments on the loan.
Yeah.
Made good there. So there's a lot of laws that protect you there, but it doesn't seem like on the same side there's that protection for the student.
I met a woman when I worked at a restaurant. She was 45 and she'd been paying off her debt for 15 years. She said she still had 8 years left, and it blew me away. But so going back to the question, Rich, if you're comfortable telling, how much debt do you have outstanding?
So hold it up.
Ballpark.
$47,500. I think it's 545 or 60, something like that.
And what did you start out with? What was your total?
I think it was 49,000.
Okay.
Just pulled up, you know, my bank statements. It only goes back about 24 months.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit longer. And I've been paying $300. And by the way, while I was in school, I didn't have to pay those loans at all, but I made it. I was like, oh, I don't want to.
So you can defer all your loans until you're done with all your school.
Yeah, and then 6 months after, and then you can even defer that a little bit longer and do an extra 6 months.
Okay. While
some of the loans are accruing interest, depending on if it's subsidized or not unsubsidized, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So. Okay, so about $50,000 of debt. So, how does it? What goes through your mind? Like, how does it feel to have that much debt? Like, is it even hard to conceptualize? Because obviously, it's just in some ways it's numbers in a bank account.
Yeah,
and numbers are taken out.
And the payments are, you know, it's not super painful. $300 is something like it's like a car payment. You know, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
I've been paying that at least 24 months. I think it's closer to 3, maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
That I've been paying. It's at least $7,500 when I was doing rough math.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what if I just put my car payment towards this loan, right? You think it'd be paid off super quick because now you're just paying all that principal.
Yeah. And
that it's going to take me about 30 plus years to pay off
the 50
at the minimum payment, right?
Yeah.
And that's as long as I don't miss a payment, anything like that. Now, with doing this extra payment, it would be 8 years at a minimum. Yeah, so like
because it's compounding because you don't have to pay the interest.
Well, so the way that I did it was I would pay off. I have 6 or 7 different loans. You know, if I pay that $800, I'd pay off one loan at a time to try and just eliminate the loan itself. Yeah. And some of those loans still take a year or two to pay off, even with, you know, an extra few $100s every single month. Got it.
Why do you think we're so uncomfortable talking about money and debt? You know, well, actually, it's funny in American culture.
Yeah,
we're comfortable actually talking about debt very often in an aggregate as a society, but then individually, it feels like it's an uncomfortable point. In addition to people talking about their salary. So why do you think people are uncomfortable talking about money? What's embarrassing about it?
It kind of shows like how responsible you are, how mature you are. I've actually, because I'm in this pain, right? Like I've paid off all my debts, went through the bankruptcy, right? Gotten more educated about debt, and so now I talk to a lot of my friends and I ask them like, hey, you know, what's your debt like? And I find, you know, people with tons of credit card debt.
Yeah, surprisingly, I find that really often.
Yeah, and then I'm like, can I help you? And just having those conversations, you know, kind of getting people to think about it, think through the problem, come up with solutions. I think they're able to like kind of open up, but I think it's discouraged in our culture, right? Just like a lot of people don't think about, you know, asking their peers how much they make. but doing that just kind of like benefits you, right? Because if I know
totally.
you and I are doing the same job, you're making more, I've been here longer, have more experience, you know, like it kind of motivates me to
it can only benefit both of us if we know each other's information in that way, right?
But it's discouraged, right?
But it's discouraged.
Like you're not allowed to. And
but we don't ask the question of why. Like, why is it discouraged? We just assume it's this unspoken taboo.
Yeah, I think people...
concept of pay it forward, and how we even came up with the idea. I mean, you came up with the idea, and I'm kind of coming into the picture to help with marketing and maybe becoming a partner in this process. But tell us more about why it came to existence.
Honestly, it was just kind of us thinking about it, and I actually was searching the internet for help, right? I was like, hey, is there any programs out there for after college, dealing with the student debt? You know, you have all these resources for before. Funny story, the only resource that I found, the only person I saw that helped other individuals with college debt was Nicki Minaj. Mm-hmm. She paid off a lot of students' debts, like if they sent the bill or something like that. And I thought that was fantastic. I was like, that's really awesome to hear. And it's like, what can I do? Like, what can I do to help out? And I was like, well, if you had 1,000 or 100,000 people put in a couple dollars, you could eliminate that debt faster and faster and do kind of a snowball effect. Yeah.
It's like crowdfunding, not for a startup or for the publishing of a book, but for the paying off of a student's debt. Yeah.
And then I thought about like a lot of these programs out there. It seems like they kind of just go to everyone. They're split evenly. They go to people you never see. And I was like, well, what if we could see who those people were and then decide who gets that money in some way, plus years. And I was like, I know this is someone that I would love to help out. Yeah. That was surprising to me because you think you're working at this corporation making, you think these people are making tons of money, but they're actually suffering. They're drowning in debt just trying to make a living.
Yeah. It makes me think about, I work with a photographer, and she told me about a story how her and a few other people that were working for this charity, they went to this village in South America, and they went to go see the impact of this funding project that they had done, and they raised $50,000 to fund this village. Something else happening in this village, and she went there as the photographer, the designated photographer, to document the impact that their money had on these people. And I think what's really cool about Pay It Forward, and big reason why I've wanted to get involved in it, is because people always ask the question, if I donate $10, $20, $1,000, how will I know it's actually going to good use? People say $30 to cancer research, where is it going, right? Or $30 to helping the starving in Africa somewhere. Helped him level up. And I think that's the real beauty about this concept, in that I think we've gotten really comfortable with donating money to philanthropies and helping causes, but I think there's a lot of individual causes of just people and them pursuing their passions and their careers without having this debt hanging over them.
Yeah, and I think when you don't have that debt, you see a lot of people who are very successful in their careers, and they finish their career in some way, and they're like, I wanted to do, just kind of, you hear these stories about these people that go and help these villages and things like that. I think when you have that freedom and you're not just trying to make a living, you start to think about how can I actually have an impact on the world. Yeah. And I think that's like helping people not have to worry about going to college, finishing college, actually going towards what they're passionate about, and helping communities, helping others. I think it could be really meaningful.
Yeah. And a goal where someone could reach is enlightenment in some sort of way, reaching their full potential, right? And so are you saying that in some way having debt inhibits people from reaching their full potential because they have to think about this financial burden on themselves?
Yeah, I think it limits you from growing, which is really important to people. Yeah. And then I think it also limits you from doing what makes you feel fulfilled, which is helping others, right? So even though I'm paying $300 a month for a student debt, if you told me that I could pay $5 to pay off all of your student debt and another person,
Yeah.
it's $15, but why is that so much more impactful? It's like because of that crowdfunding, that community, helping others, and then selecting people, right? So I think, making that progress in your life, hearing a story about someone who wanted to be a counselor but went into the IT field just because it was more money, it's like you could have been helping students, or hearing about someone who had to work 3 jobs while going to school, or had to take care of their kid, or those
take care of their siblings, or take care of someone who has special needs, right?
Or the worst story to me is hearing that they never even went because they didn't want to deal with that debt.
Yeah.
And I think those kinds of things are really painful to hear. But when I hear them, I'm like, well, what could I do to help this person? Could it be information? Could it be telling the story? Could it be paying a little bit of money that goes towards that person? And that's where that's what I want to see happen. Is I want to see the Pay It Forward again. Name could change. I think Pay It Forward is pretty cool.
I like it. Yeah. We need to check the URL. Yeah.
But yeah. But I think it's not just about because people think charity and they think, or fundraisers or whatever, and they're like, right? They roll their eyes, or they're like, how is that going to have an impact? But this is more than just that. Sometimes sharing your story is just as impactful as $5. A few dollars here, a few dollars there.
Yeah.
But think about it. Like, what if all these people giving their money in some way or giving their story in some way helps another person, and then that kind of snowballs? Or what if the more that you're giving gets you moved up on the list faster, right? So if you're the top contributor in the community, why wouldn't you be one of the people that gets out of debt? Because maybe that's going to motivate you more to continue helping other people.
Yeah. So there is a stack rank idea that's in the works of, there's a waiting list to join to have your debt paid off through Pay It Forward.
Yeah.
And if you donate yourself to the cause, you can level up in being a priority of getting your debt paid off. And I think that's a really smart idea. The whole concept actually makes me think about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a non-profit company, but I don't know about you, but I've used Wikipedia thousands of times, and pretty reputable now. With they do a works cited at the bottom of every article that they write, but always 2 times a year at the very top it says, if you donated right now $4, this whole campaign to raise this many millions of dollars would end in 4 minutes. And I think that data alone, that fact, shows you the power of, if we were able to raise $4 from 4 million people that visit, that are in universities right now, or that work in corporate America, and that's for the price of a coffee, right? Less than the price of a Frappuccino. We could pay off, who knows, maybe thousands of students' debts, their entire debt amounts, and that gets me really excited. It's something that I could see myself waking up every day to know that that's the mission that I'm driving to. So I guess what I'm hoping to hear is, who do you think is the audience that we're trying to reach with Pay It Forward? Who do you think will be the people that are paying off the debt of other people? Is it going to be people with debt themselves? Or are we trying to reach people who are maybe they're debt-free and they want to help other people have that same feeling?
I honestly think it's anyone that values education, right? We talk about those kinds of things a lot, and just to be even more clear on this too, like the people that we're trying to help are not the people currently in college. We want people with degrees that have finished those degrees to kind of help wipe, not just kind of, but actually help wipe away this debt that they have, because that's a burden, and I feel like it restricts them from making that progress. So if you're someone who yourself has been in debt, you're someone who doesn't want people to be in debt, someone who values education and thinks it is a top priority, we want to support those people. And I think we hear about all these grants and scholarships and things like that, but I can say, like, I ran out a lot of those benefits along the way.
Yeah.
And I had to take out loans, and I honestly didn't fully understand what I was taking on when I took it on, because had I known how it worked, I probably would have taken out personal loans just because it would have been less risk.
Yeah.
Like, I am stuck to this debt.
So, on the ending note, I know you and I have created a little pilot a GoFundMe as a way to test this concept out. So what are some parting words? Maybe you could even link to what's the URL to that, so we can start raising money for this.
So I can share the URL. I'll put in the video link and everything like that.
In the info at the bottom.
But I would ask this of people, like, just comment. Just say what your thoughts are, right?
Okay.
Like, again, I don't really want this to be, I don't want it to be looked at as like a charity. I want this to be something where it's more of a crowdfunding, helping people.
It's as a community aspect to it,
And with that, I think it's not just about money, it's also about people's opinions, thoughts, like ideas. How can we be creative, right? Like
like the investment idea is a creative idea in itself, right?
Yeah, like the ranking, right? We want to take great ideas.
The ranking one's great,
And I think this is long-term community driven. Like, I think this is something, once it gets started, I want it to basically run itself and have the community help grow it, which is essentially what you said with Wikipedia, right? Like, that's very community driven.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for the chat, Rich, for sharing your story. Maybe in the future we can hear more into that. I feel like I did that. Did I not do that?
I don't know if you said our names.
Okay. And so let me do it right now while it's rolling. All right. Hey, I'm Jakub Kubicka. This is Rich Guldi, and we're going to be talking about Pay It Forward, which is a business concept that we've been exploring, more of a charity philanthropy. We don't really like to give it any nomenclatures, but I actually want to pilot this series of interviewing different people who have had experiences with debt or who are experts in eliminating debt, advocating for it.
It turned into this idea of how can I get others to help, and then how can I help others as well? Like, how can we do this together? And that's where Pay It Forward came from. It was like, what if other people could help me get out of debt, and then how could I help them, right? Could I teach them? Could I show them? Could I work with them? Could we start a company? And also sitting down and doing some research, finding out
that Nicki Minaj is the only one eliminating debt.
Who else is out there after someone's graduated providing help with student loans? And it's kind of this thing that people just get stuck with, and I don't feel like people talk about it enough, you know?
No, that feeling, it feels suffocating, and I know some people might say that, hey, that's just life, that's just how it has to be, but just because everyone has debt doesn't mean that that's right. I actually think it's more about the mission of helping people in aggregate and total, and also telling stories of helping other people win in eliminating their debt.
Yeah, I think it's like
very well. That's